Hey Chiefs Kingdom, welcome back to another exciting edition of the Total Chiefs channel. Today, we're diving into something I know you're all curious about. The Kansas City Chiefs depth chart after the 2025 NFL free agency. A lot has happened, and we'll break it all down. Who's in, who's out, and what could be coming next. Now, before we jump into it, I've got a little challenge for you. Mitch from the Raiders Report thinks Chiefs Kingdom can't get 1,000 comments on this video. Yeah, that's right. He said we couldn't do it. Can you believe that? Well, we all know that Chiefs Kingdom isn't one to back down from a challenge, right? So, here's the deal. In the comments section, I want you to drop a C if you're with me, and let's show Mitch what we're capable of. You know what to do. Let's hit that goal and show Raider Nation who's boss. As for the depth chart, we know some changes are still coming. The draft is on the horizon, and we can expect to see more moves in free agency, maybe even some trades. But for now, let's take a look at where the roster stands. You ready? Let's dive in. All right, let's move to the wide receiver position. It's a solid group, but there are still some lingering questions that need to be answered. I mean, we've got Rashee Rice, but is he fully healthy? Can he stay on the field this season? Then there's Xavier Worthy. Will he face a suspension? And what about Marquez Valdes-Scantling? Can he stay healthy and be that reliable deep threat we need? It's a lot of questions for one group. But hey, this is the Chiefs, right? We've got Mahomes throwing the ball, so the potential is always there. But here's the thing. I still feel like the Chiefs need one more quality receiver. The group's looking better than it has in previous seasons, but it's not yet a group that's going to make opposing defenses shake in their boots. Whether it's a free agent, a trade, or even a draft pick, I think Brett Veach will be looking to add another receiver to this group. What do you think, though? Do we need one more guy, or are you happy with the current receivers on the roster? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Moving on to the tight end position. Thankfully, we've got Travis Kelce coming back for what might be his final season. This guy is a legend, and it's amazing to see him still playing at such a high level. But with Kelce getting older, there's been a lot of talk about who will step up as his eventual replacement. Noah Gray has been solid, especially after his breakout season last year. But I'm really excited about Jared Y. The guy was compared to Kelce coming out of college, but an ACL injury slowed his rookie season. Don't sleep on Y, though. He's got the potential to be that next big star at tight end. But here's the real question. Could Jared Y be the future of the tight end position in Kansas City? Or will he always be a solid backup? I think he could surprise a lot of people, but we'll have to see how he recovers from that injury. What's your take on Y? Do you think he can be the next Kelce, or is he more of a role player? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're cruising along, but there's more to dive into. So let's keep it going and head to the offensive line next. Let's talk about the offensive line now. The Chiefs have been pretty solid up front, but there are a few areas where we need to take a closer look. Starting with the interior, we've got two of the best in the game, Creed Humphrey at center and Trey Smith at guard. These guys are absolute anchors in the middle of the line, and you can count on them to give Mahomes plenty of time to make plays. But then, there's some uncertainty at the tackle positions. Jalen Moore is set to start at left tackle, and while he's shown promise, it's still a bit of an unknown. He's coming from a good system in San Francisco, but can he sustain that level of play over an entire season? It's a big question mark. Now let's talk about Kingsley. He's penciled in at left guard, but I think the Chiefs still need to add some competition there. I'm not sold on Kingsley just yet. The team might need to draft a quality guard in the first or second round to push for that starting spot. It'll make the competition fierce and provide some much-needed depth. So, Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Do you trust this offensive line, or do you have some doubts? Would you feel better if the Chiefs drafted another guard to compete for that left guard spot? I'm curious to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment with a yes or no. Do you trust the current offensive line? Now on to the defensive line. The big names here are George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. These two guys are the pillars of the line, and they're going to be key to the Chiefs' defensive success this year. Mike Pennell is also returning after arguably the best season of his career, and we've got some depth with Mike Dana and Charles Omenihu. However, there are still concerns when it comes to depth. Felix Anudika-Uzoma, for example, is entering year 3, and it's time to see if he can take that next step. Jerry Tillery was brought in to add more talent, but let's be real, there's still uncertainty there. Is he the answer for the Chiefs or just a filler? It's something to keep an eye on. The Chiefs need to add more depth to that defensive line, especially with the tough opponents in the AFC. What's your take on the defensive line? Do you think the Chiefs have enough depth, or do they need to make more moves before the season starts? Let me know in the comments. All right, we've got more to cover, but let's keep the ball rolling and dive into the linebackers, corners, safeties, and special teams next. Now, let's move on to the linebackers. The Chiefs are in a pretty good spot here. Nick Bolton is back and ready to have another great season. In fact, he's just getting started. This could be the year where Bolton really establishes himself as one of the top linebackers in the league. He's coming off a solid contract extension, and it's exciting to think about what he'll bring to the table as he enters his prime. Drew Tranquill is also back, and Leo Chanel will be looking to continue developing in what is a solid linebacker core. I'm really excited about Leo's potential. If he takes that next step, this group could be one of the best in the NFL. The depth here is good, but keep an eye on Bolton, because I'm expecting a big year from him. Let's talk corners next. The Chiefs made some changes here too. Christian Fulton comes over from the Chargers to add some experience, but there's also talk of Trent McDuffie shifting back to the nickel spot. Before you jump to conclusions, remember, this isn't a demotion for McDuffie. This is about maximizing his potential. He's a guy who can shine in the nickel, and his versatility is something the Chiefs can really use. You've still got Jalen Watson and rookie additions giving you depth, so the cornerback room is looking much stronger than it did last season. But what do you think? Do you feel more confident about the cornerbacks this season? Drop a comment and let me know how you're feeling about this group. Now, the safety position has gone through some changes too. With Justin Reed leaving, the Chiefs are turning to Jaden Hicks, who had an impressive rookie season. The big question is, can he handle being the starting strong safety? He's got the talent, but will he be able to step up in a bigger role? Brian Cook will be there with him, providing some stability. But the Chiefs still might look to add another safety to solidify the depth and offer insurance. Having that extra piece in case something goes wrong will be key. Finally, let's wrap it up with special teams. This group might not always get the attention it deserves, but I think we can all agree that the Chiefs' special teams are one of the strongest in the NFL. Harrison Butker is back, and after a great season, he's ready to keep kicking with precision. Matt Araiza, known as the punt god, is also back, and that leg of his is something to watch. James Winchester, one of the best long snappers in the game, is back with a new contract. And Nico is your primary return man. This group has the potential to be a game changer, and I think it could be the difference in some close games this season. Well, Chiefs Kingdom, what's your take on the special teams? Do you think this group can make a difference this season, or are there some areas of concern? Let me know in the comments below. As we wrap things up, let's take a moment to review the depth chart we've covered. The Chiefs have made some solid moves in free agency, strengthening key positions while also keeping an eye on future improvements through the draft and trades. Whether it's the depth in the quarterback room, the revamped linebacker group, or the return of key special teams players, there's a lot to be excited about heading into the season. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the Chiefs' roster post-free agency? Do you think the team has improved enough to make a run at another Super Bowl? Drop your grade for the roster, A, B, C, or D, in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with all the latest updates. Thanks for joining me today, and stay tuned for more insights into everything happening with the Chiefs.